Whether you're looking to add a little joie de vivre or maybe even some va-va-voom to your motoring life, look no further than these two famous French manufacturers, Renault and Peugeot. We already know about their Gallic flair for design, but the French are very good at revolutions, and they have been revolutionizing the small EV market. Today, we are looking at the Peugeot E208 and the Renault Zoe, two small cars that are making a big impact on the EV world. I'm Stu from Big Motoring World, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button to make sure that you keep up with all of our latest car reviews. The term budget EV might strike fear into your very core, but one look at this E208 GT premium line and you realise that this is anything but budget. Okay, fair enough, it's not a Porsche Taycan or a Polestar 4, but when you have a look at this thing and when you experience it, you can see that it really does keep up with its more illustrious counterparts. Looking at the outside, you can see some real telltale Peugeot marks. You've got the white claw almost slashing at the front LEDs. It makes it look really, really distinctive out there on the road. The front grille on this particular E208 has got lovely little blue accents. As you look through its profile, it has that sporty Peugeot DNA. Reminds you of those 205s that were zipping around during the Dakar with a nice swoop up over the cabin. Lovely black roof on this that contrasts the blue really nicely. You've got nice black glossy alloys on this one as well, and then tinted privacy glass from factory at the back. At the rear of the E208, the good looks continue as if sculpted on the catwalks of Paris itself. The claw marks as a feature remain, as if the line has been trying to drag you back as you drive away, in these three lovely little LED clusters located at the rear. E208 on the back, denoting that you are in fact driving an all-electric car, and GT just to tell everybody that this is sporty. Now, of course, as you're driving around your daily life, you're going to need to put stuff in the boot. 309 litres worth of space in the back of the 208, which is plenty for putting stuff in as you're commuting. Maybe you've gone to an Auchan in Dijon. The rear seats will go down in a 60-40 split, which is fine, so you can even turn this into a little van. The 50 kilowatt hour battery and the 100 kilowatt motor are the heartbeat of this E208. You can charge it via AC or DC, and a 100% charge will get you up to 232 miles in this little French fancy. Those numbers are according to Peugeot. Now, it should take you around about half an hour to charge this from 10 to 80% at a 100 kilowatt hour public charger. And whilst 232 miles doesn't necessarily sound that much, considering this is meant to get you around the city or just backwards and forwards on a commute or to the shops, that is plenty. Now, interestingly, the underpinnings of this 208 are actually shared with the e-Corsa and the e-Mokka, but I think that the Peugeot E208 has got a little bit more of a je ne sais quoi factor compared to those two cars. Now, if you're going to charge this at home, it should cost you around about £5 or under based on a standard EV tariff. Everything about this car is value for money, but it feels premium. The interior of this E208 feels anything but budget. In fact, I'd say the opposite. It feels incredibly well put together. I'll start with what is directly in front of me, the steering wheel. It's pretty sporty. You've got a flattened top and bottom, something that you will find in a lot of Peugeots across the range. Feels like you're driving one of their hyper cars in Le Mans, but there is something I will say about these steering wheels. Please sit in the Peugeot before you decide to buy one, because depending on how high you are, it can sometimes get in the way of the binnacle and all the instrument cluster. But give it a go and see how you feel. You can adjust it relatively easily via a little lever underneath. The binnacle and the instrument cluster itself are lovely. All digital cockpit, showing you where your car is positioned, speed, how much charge you've got left, all the lovely stuff, warnings, bongs and all that kind of thing. And actually, the way that it's been designed, it gives it almost like a 3D hologrammatic effect, which I think is quite nice and adds to that premium feel in the cabin. As we move over, the actual trim in here is really nice. It's got this faux carbon littered throughout. It's got nice green stitching throughout the cabin as well, just reminding you that you are being green by driving an E208. And there is a nice ambient lighting which can be adjusted through the infotainment system as well. And if you love ambient lighting, just like my cameraman, lucky you, we've done a video on it, available in the description. Now, the infotainment system is pretty responsive, and it is a mixture of touchscreen, haptic buttons and real buttons, which actually doesn't feel too bad, but you can control everything you need through the infotainment in the middle. You've got plenty of cubby holes, places to hide your phone. You've got USB-C and USB chargers, more room under here to put keys or crisps or whatever. A nice fighter pilot style gear select, of course, forward, back, neutral in this EV. 2 cup holders of differing sizes, plenty big enough. Drive mode, so you can be a little bit sportier or a little bit more comfortable depending on what you want to do. And then plenty of room in the center here as well. The seat that I'm sat on, I must pay attention to and give it a little bit of additional praise. Really comfortable, really sporty, kind of a faux suede and faux leather feel in here as well, but really adjustable and just really lovely place to be. In the back, it is a little bit petite, but let's remember that it is a city car, so that is not a detractor. Now, the seat in front of me is in my driving position. I'm about 5'8", 5'9", and I'm not the smallest guy in the world, but it is still tight. But that said, if I had to go a short distance in it, I wouldn't feel too bad. It is a little bit dark in here, but other than that, it's not bad at all. Outside of those facts, it's very comfortable. The stitching and everything still feels premium, just like in the front. You've got nice headrests that are adjustable. You've got ISOFIX points if you're going to put a baby seat in here. You've got 2 USB chargers so that people can keep their devices up to full charge should they require it. You've got nets in the seat in front of you to put things in. Not that you'd really be able to do that all too easily, but overall, it's a very good package for the rear bench. The E208, a car that all cards on the table I have been looking forward to driving for a couple of years. It is a fantastic dynamic little chassis. The 208 with an engine in it actually competes in rally championships all over the world, and I can see why, because it is such a dynamic and compliant car that at speed you feel very, very confident behind the wheel. Peugeot are well known for making fun little cars. They've done it for 30, 40, 50 years. And actually, by sticking an electric motor into the 208, they have made what was already a really good car into a fantastically fun little go-kart. I don't want to take away what is, however, a very well-appointed cabin. We spoke about it while we were stationary, but actually this thing is jam-packed full of premium features. So you've got blind spot assist in your wing mirrors, you've got collision assist, not that it assists you in having a collision, it stops you from having one if your eyes have wandered off the road. Now, I mentioned while we were stationary that you should always test drive any of the new Peugeots due to where the steering wheel is in relation to the dashboard. Now, I have my position quite squat. I like to feel quite like I'm in a sports car when I'm driving, and it is having an impact on what I can see. I'll be honest, I cannot see the dashboard at all. Now, that is down to me. I can drop the steering wheel down and I can do all these things to make sure that I can see the instrument panel in front of me, but I am literally guessing how fast I'm going right now, and I suspect it's probably a little too fast because, again, that dynamic chassis makes you want to push on. The beauty of this car is you have sport mode, comfort mode, and then eco mode, and you can really feel the difference between all of those modes. I've been in sport up until now, I've just dipped it into comfort. The whole thing feels much looser, much more compliant. The steering is not as direct, but it's still quite nice. And this flat bottom steering wheel and top steering wheel actually makes it very easy to use the car on the open road. It's quite a small steering wheel, but it's really nice when you're tackling a roundabout, corners, whatever the case may be. I cannot get over just how sporty this car feels, while simultaneously having that lovely premium feel, whilst being chock full of technology, whilst being able to get you 200 miles plus on a full charge. It really does actually feel like a car of the future. The Renault Zoe has been sur our autoroutes for a decade, but despite the length of time that it's been on the market, it still manages to look futuristic whilst also being comfortably recognizable. It does have very distinctive looks. I mean, look at the size of that Renault badge. It's possibly one of the biggest Renault badges I've ever seen in my life, and there's a little surprise hidden under there as well that we'll talk about in a moment. Adaptive LED headlights and a nice squat nose on this £9,000 EV, meaning that it is particularly easy to park in those little city spaces. It's actually deceptively tall as well, so getting in and out is nice and easy, and putting yourself and shopping in there equally so. Nice diamond cut alloy wheels, and it heads back into the two doors at the rear, again making it massively easy to use. But there is something on this rear door that I want to show you. I review a lot of cars, but every now and again something comes along that makes me smile. There's a little fingerprint on the door handle. It doesn't read your fingerprint, but it does denote where you've got to put your finger to then pop the handle open and open the back door. It's a little thing, but it does make me smile. The back of the Zoe basically just stops, again making it really easy to park in those little spaces. But it's got 339 litres of space in the back of this little tiny car. That is an extraordinary amount of room. Plenty for absolutely everything you might need to cart around in this little shopping trolley sized EV from Renault. It's got a 60-40 split on the back seats, so you can pop them down either one or two at a time, or all three, giving you even more space for carting stuff about. Hidden under what I think might be the largest Renault badge of all time is your charging point. Now, this has got a 50 kilowatt hour battery underneath this Zoe, good for around about 230 miles, which is loads. Now, if you're going to charge this from 10 to 80% at a 50 kilowatt hour public rapid charger, it will take around about 47 minutes. Not the quickest on the market, but plenty, because you're not going to have to charge it that often with that range. If you're charging at home with a 7 kilowatt hour battery charger from your wall box, you're looking around the 5.5 hour mark, which is fine charging overnight on one of those snazzy EV tariffs. And if you want to know more about EV tariffs, well, we wrote a handy little guide available over on our website. Renault have given the interior of the Zoe a very nice lift and update. So in front of me we have a round steering wheel, unlike its Peugeot compatriot. Nice and easy to use. It is heated in this Zoe as well, and as well as having real buttons in order to adjust things like cruise control, answer the telephone, and all that kind of stuff. All electric windows, which is nice. The binnacle is nicely proportioned and has an all digital LED instrument cluster, which is nice and crisp and easy to read while you're driving. 9.3 inch infotainment screen, and it is a mixture of touchscreen and real buttons, but it's all very easy to use and nice and responsive. It's not the most advanced, but it's good when you think about how much the Zoe is going to cost you. Real buttons for things like your heated seats. Yes, it's got heated seats, and your climate control, also nice and easy to use, and real buttons as well. 2 USB slots to charge your phone or whatever it might be, and you can hook this up to Apple CarPlay should you wish. And the seats themselves, well, they are comfortable and made of fully recycled material, just adding to the green credentials of this Renault Zoe. There's lots of light coming into the cabin, which makes it feel nice and comfortable, which I appreciate. Selecting your drive in the Zoe is done through this lovely little handle style gear selector, reverse, neutral, and obviously forward in an all-electric vehicle, but it's nice to the touch, does the job, and it isn't buttons like you find in some other electric vehicles. It's minimalist, but it does the job, and overall, it is actually quite comfortable. And remember, you are only paying £9,000 for this Renault Zoe. Overall, solid cabin. As you're poodling down the road in the Zoe, there are a couple of things that become immediately evident. Number one, it is definitely small, but it's also light on the road. So you do feel like you've got quite a lot of room either side, particularly on a B road like this. The steering is pretty light, it's very direct. A little adjustment on the wheel gives you quite a bit of direction, which makes it great for city driving. But out here on the open road, it can be just a little bit jittery, so something just to bear in mind, but it's not uncomfortable. The binnacle and the digital display in front of you is crisp. It doesn't take your eye away from the road. Everything is very obvious in every single sense, and the infotainment, whether you've gone with CarPlay hooked up or Android Auto, really easy to use, really easy to see. Loads and loads of glass to look out of in this particular car, so perfect for parking, but also as you're driving along, it's also fantastic to see what's going on around you, which is pretty handy. You do sit quite upright, so even though this is a small car, we've spoke about the fact that it's quite tall, and actually as you're sitting in it, it does give you that air of, I could be in an SUV here. I feel quite high up and quite vertical. I don't hate it. I think it's actually quite a nice feature. As the weather takes a bit of a turn, traction is still good on the road, even though it's greasy. The heated seats and heated steering wheel in this particular model are welcome though. But actually, do you know what? As a small, inexpensive EV, 9,000 quid, it's got all the bells and whistles that you'd want, up to and including, as I say, the heated steering wheel, the heated seats, the standard kind of safety equipment, which is wonderful, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. What more could you possibly wish for? And it doesn't feel cramped in this. The fact that it doesn't feel cramped, I'm really happy about, because you do worry that in a small city car, you're gonna have to fold yourself in and out of it. But actually, there's loads of room. My elbow is a little bit tappy on the side, but not really when you're driving. So overall, I'm giving this a solid scoring for being both comfortable, practical, and generally a nice driving experience. Et voilà, two small French EVs that are packed full of je ne sais quoi, as well as cutting edge technology. But tell us, which one of these two petites voitures would you be taking home with you? And which one of our French phrases have been most egregious? Tell us in the comments. But no matter what kind of small EV you want, remember that at Big Motoring World, we're big on choice and we're big on what matters to you.